What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video, and you already can tell by the title. I am glad. I'm finally glad. I'm happy. Ding dong ding. The witch is dead. I'm happy. J. Cole is finally retiring. I'm excited, if you will. I'm ecstatic, if you will. Okay, because you probably ask yourself, man, why do you have such a disdain for J. Cole? But before we get into all that stuff, it's just. You probably ask yourself, why you come back with this video? Why do you come back talking about something you hated? Well, if I spent 100 minutes on something that made me want to tear my eyes out and dig into my ears so I can't hear anymore, well then, I'm telling you my thoughts on it, okay? That's how it works, okay? I'm being over dramatic because that's what YouTubers do so we can get an audience, alright? So it's like the J. Cole fanatics that are about to lose their mind in the comments talking about, you just don't understand. I'm not trying to hear that, bro. Because I've been listening to J. Cole since I was in high school, okay? It's been well over 10 years since I started listening to J. Cole, okay? And out of all this stuff I've been hearing about, the build up to this stupid album, for it to come out and be lackluster, it's kind of like, for example, you talk to this chick, you talk to this chick, you hype yourself up, you know, when we finally meet, I'm gonna knock it down, you know, I'm gonna do you right. And then you finally get that, you get 2 pumps and you're done. No, it's obviously, it's her fault because, you know, you went into it with different expectations. Mind you, he said on his last album, Might Delete Later, his mixtape or whatever, he said the fall of is like Hove dropping Reasonable Doubt last, okay? Which is one of JC's better albums, okay? He came in here with these expectations. Don't even try to flip it. I hate when J. Cole fans try to flip in defense of this man when he makes mid music and they were like, no, you just don't understand it, you don't give it enough time, or you're just not smart enough. J. Cole make music for dumb people that want to feel smart. That's what it is. Let's keep it for what it is, okay? And you know why everyone's so hard on J. Cole about this album? Is because he backed out of the beef. You wanna know why? And you can sit here and say, hey, if your heart's not in it as a man, you'll apologize and back out of it. I'm not saying that, but we haven't been sitting here for the past 10 years of this man sitting there yelling on the top of his lungs that he's the best, he's the number one in the game. When he was on that feature run, and what was it 2018, 2019, where he was killing every feature he was on, he kept saying over and over and over and over and over that he was the best MC in the game. And then when it's time to prove it, when you're not going up against the Lil Pumps and the Lil Yachty's and the people that are obviously beneath you and not at the same stature you are, he can come out with his chest puffed up. When he going up against No Name, his chest is puffed out until he gets bitched made by the same artist. Then he wants to back away talking about, oh, I'm not really educated, right? But when it's time for him to put up or shut up, he shuts up. He backs out. You cannot sit there and apologize and then come back later with your poor Antonio talking about, you know, I didn't want to lose a bro. I didn't want to be in war. I don't like blood on me. Man, get the fuck out of here. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of this man that likes to throw rocks and hide his hands, okay? And we're not even gonna get. And then for the people who sit there saying, "Wow, why are you taking his words he says so literally?" He is a lyricist. Y'all put him in that category. When he says things, when you have to pay attention to the things he say. J. Cole fans love saying, "Hey, you have to really read into his words. You have to read it. You have to listen to the song over and over and over again to understand the things that you miss." When I listen to a J. Cole album, yes, there are some minor things that I miss. Was like, oh dang. Like, I didn't catch this thing on this song, right? But there is nothing even close to a reason to be like, wow, J. Cole does not have a song where you have to break down the lyrics. There is not a song out there where you have to sit there and really think about the song and say it. Because he's not a storyteller. He's someone that is not, for example, the perfect analogy I can give is between an actor reading a script and actually acting a script. When you give him a paragraph and they're sitting there, they're reading the words on the paper, but they're not really acting it out. That is what J. Cole is. He's just reading the words on the paper, okay? He's not saying anything that is really blowing my mind. And I know people are going to sit there and say, wow, you can't really critique this album, even though it's his last album, even though he hyped it up to be a classic, even though he said all this stuff for the past fucking 10 years, that this is going to be the greatest album that he's done, blah, 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 blah. He's the greatest MC ever. And you leave in a fucking wet fart, and then you're like, oh, well, you know, we can't really critique them because it's a personal album, right? For an artist who likes to make personal, relatable music, I don't know anything from this album. This album is 100 minutes long, 101 minutes long, okay? For a so-called personal album, there was not something that I learned new from this album that I didn't know from previous albums. Because J. Cole is the same thing like Logic. He loves telling his backstory of how he made it, how he got out the mud, how he's in Muhammad's crib, you know what I mean? Like, we know this already. He says it over and over and over again. Every other verse is his backstory. There is nothing in this album that is new and different and we're not even talking about sonically, where you know, because the RDC World skit, where it's like, oh, you're mentioning sonically, what does that mean? This music isn't interesting, okay? What he's saying isn't interesting, okay? Like, for every 2014 Forest Hills drives we get 10 grip beats, and I'm done with it. Like, I'm so glad he's retiring, and I hope he's retiring, and I hope he doesn't backpedal with It's a Boy album, because if you really want this to be your last album, you need to stand on it. But I feel like he's seen the mediocre response. He's seen how everyone is pretty much shitting us outside of his core fan base, because the core fan base, you can feed them anything, they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And it's like, no, this is a mediocre album, all right? This is better than Scorpion, but Scorpion was a bloated album that didn't need to be that long, okay? But the nerve of some of these people to sit there saying this is the best double album since, what, Life Before Death, I think was the album people were saying? You are out of your... There are so many more double albums. And I'm not even going to make the Kendrick comparison, because we know that is a hill that is like not even worth bringing up, because it's like, it's kind of like punching downwards at this point, right? There is so many other double albums that you can call to, like Big Crit that he did, that is far better than this album. What are we talking about here? No one asked him to make a double album, especially when half of the songs is nothing new. There's nothing new, there's nothing different. And you know what it is? J. Cole is now in the Eminem area. He's in the Eminem placement for me, where he is an amazing rapper. When you need him for a feature, we don't have to have him worry about the hook or anything of what the song is about. You just need him a feature for a song. He is a brilliant rapper to have on there. You know what I mean? Eminem is a fantastic rapper, one of the best of its artistry, right? He's an excellent rapper, but when it comes to making bodies of work to show your skill off, he is garbage, okay? Why are we having songs with Pink? This is the same thing with J. Cole. He makes these songs, and it's crazy because he has an ear for production, right? He made High Power, the Kendrick Lamar song, and all these different songs. The instrumentals are so different that it's like, okay, how do you go from that to having the most boring album of the year? That's why when he made that weak ass diss song on Might Delete Later, talking about, oh yeah, your music puts people to sleep, everyone was clowning this man, because like, the fucking nerve of you when you drop NyQuil every fucking time, okay? That's crazy. The off-season is better than this album. The off-season blows this album out of the fucking water, okay? I wanted more of that. And I get, it's like, oh, this is more something for the fans. This is a more personal album, but it doesn't even succeed on that. Are you like, we're not going to sit here and have this argument about, wow, this album is such a deep pool. This isn't now we're gonna make the comparison. I missed them around the Big Steppers. There's no Auntie Diaries on this album, okay? There's no, and the one song you could sit there and say that there's like, oh, this is a different, you know, thing from J. Cole is the What If song with Biggie and Tupac, and that wasn't even done. I've seen better songs done better. Different songs that tackle that same point done better, okay? If I want to listen to Jonah Lucas, I will go put on Jonah Lucas, okay? I don't need J. Cole to try to give his rendition of a Jonah Lucas song to prove a point. I'm over it, okay? This album isn't good. I would give it a 5 out of 10 because it's listenable. But the fact that people are saying, oh, this is a certified classic. And also, if you have to listen to an album 24 times in the car, exercising, underwater, in the trees, reading a book, so you can finally understand, so you just have to keep, like, everybody that has been that gives valid criticism of this album, all the fans say the same critique. You just need to give it a few more listens. You need to give it a few more listens. No, this album isn't good. And I know people gonna make the comparison. Well, when Mr. Morale and Big Steppers came out, people had the same critique. Mind you, the stuff he was talking about on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was far different than what J. Cole is talking about on this album, okay? It is yes, they're both personal albums. Yes, they both talk about personable things, but one talks about generational trauma, and the other one is talking about from the perspective of Biggie and Tupac. What are we talking about here? Like, you know what I mean? And you know what's crazy is that people went back to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It was like, yeah, this is the reason why I started going to therapy, because he made music about stuff where it's like I can relate to it to a point where it's like, damn, I need to start looking inward on my stuff. J. Cole has not dropped anything close to that. And even on face value, even if you want to sit there and say, I don't agree with you, I still find Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper was born, which is crazy because some of the people, especially certain YouTubers, I won't name any names, came out and said defending Dick Eating this J. Cole album, but was like, I couldn't finish Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper because it was boring. I'm looking at you fucking crazy right now because it's like your music taste is awful. But that's besides the point. When people sit there and say, even on the base value, even if you don't agree with me, even if you say Mr. Morale's Big Steppers is boring, I couldn't finish it or whatever, on face value, there are numerous songs you can play that are actually like interesting songs to listening to. And I'm not talking about interesting words like there's a different, there's a message behind it. There's like, you know, something you have to think about. I mean, interesting is that you could bop to it. How many songs, and I don't want to sound like a Drake fan, it's like, oh, I can't listen to this album in the club. How many songs genuinely are you going back to on this album to like for any reason? Like no one is going back to the Tupac Biggie song, okay? Every other song on here, or the songs that you would consider a hit, quote unquote, there are other J. Cole songs that does it better, okay? Like I can count on five fingers right now a bunch of songs from the Mr. Morale and Big Steppers, and I've heard it multiple times since it came out. You have N95, even United in Grief, which became like a meme or whatever. We're not gonna talk about that. You have Purple Hearts, you have Die Hard, you have Father Time, you have Mirror. It's like so many different songs in the album that you can go back to over and over and over again. Silent Hill is still a banger that you could play. Like, what are we talking about here? But enough with the Kendrick Lamar J. Cole comparison. This album is not good. I'm so glad he's retiring. I don't want to hear another J. Cole album, okay? Because he doesn't bring anything new to the table. I will rather watch sonically, since you know people don't like that word because you know they're mad because people using it to a point that discredits their favorite artist. Sonically, listening to J. Cole is like watching paint and dry. When KOD came out, I remember when I had a YouTube channel years ago, I said this is an okay album, but I know many other albums that talk about dealing drugs and the things of addiction a lot better than J. Cole. J. Cole didn't add anything new, didn't have any new perspective to this album, to where it's just a mediocre hour, where no one is going back to KOD, okay? And you know what's crazy? When I said that, people were flaming me for it, like, you don't know what you're talking about, you just don't understand, you need to give it a few more listens. The fall off is the same thing here. No one's going back to this album. I can promise you that. There is no going back to it 5 years from now and having a new perspective that's going to blow your mind, okay? There's not like a message where it's so hard to get through that you need to take a step back and then come back to it later. There is nothing like that. This is bland as a turkey sandwich with mayo, no mustard, no pickles, okay? Just bland, bland, bland. That's what it is. And that's what J. Cole is. And I'm happy. I'm glad. I almost shared a happy tear when this is his final album. So I'm tired of hearing this 1 foot in, 1 foot out bullshit of I'm the best MC, but when it comes to proving it, I'ma just pussyfoot out of it, okay? Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the whole I'm humble, I don't like being on the top. And it's like, bro, you're a celebrity whether you like it or not. Woe is me, I'm rich and famous bullshit. Get out of here. I'm sick of it, okay? Those are my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think. I'm in the comments down below, and I'm out of here. Peace.
That's what legendary players do. Kobe Bryant broke his fucking hand, and he did that. That's what legendary players do. LeBron, legendary, 3-1 comeback, came back. Kevin Durant got his foot on the line, went into overtime. He didn't score, bro. He didn't put up no buckets. Stop calling that man legendary because he won with Steph Curry, the greatest shooter ever, Klay Thompson, a top 3 shooter ever. Stop calling that, because when Westbrook went down, he got smoked out by Memphis. When they played the Spurs, he got smoked out. When they went up against Golden State, he blew a 3-1 lead. He choked. Legendary, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, even fucking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson as a rookie, 45 points,
Larry
17 rebounds, triple-double, Larry Bird, legendary. These are legendary. Hakeem Olajuwon is more legendary than Kevin Durant. That's what we talking about right now. Stop talking about KD like he's this guy. He's not that guy.